to vape throughout. Like, there's no.
Yeah, when you talk, that's when I will vape.
Yeah. I have my CBD one here in case I get anxious or nervous. So I'm just
Yeah,
like,
I did try one of those once. I mean, the hit, like on the back of your throat, you can taste that CBD.
yeah.
Because I did have the drops, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the drops. I kind of just, you have to like leave it under your tongue, don't you? But
well, I bought them first for the dog, and I just
okay.
thought, oh, I'm gonna try some. And I don't know whether it was the placebo effect, because obviously you have to build it up. And I just whack like so many drops under my tongue, and then I had a nice afternoon nap, which I never normally do.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
but I've never bought it since. It didn't help with the dog.
Oh,
Not
fair
with me.
enough. No, my brother, like, I grew up with an older brother that was like a massive weed smoker. So I've always been like,
Yeah.
I've not been in, I've never done drugs. I don't touch them. But
No, I've
so
never done anything harder than weed,
no,
ever.
I've
I
done a couple
can't
of
afford a
edibles.
drug problem.
Yeah,
I can't afford a drug,
literally.
like financially or morally. Like, drugs are expensive, you
Very
know?
expensive, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, a little
But
CBD
yeah, I
vape is more
think
affordable.
yeah, that's okay. But no, like drugs are such a weird thing now. Like weed, back when I was, in my early 20s and stuff, like weed was very like, oh, like very few people did. And things like, you know, a, a bit of like a line here and there for most people on a night out is like the standard.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? Like, it's so easily accessible and so many
It's
people are
crazy,
doing
isn't
it,
it?
especially students. Like, I have a lot of student friends. But back when I was like that age, if you were doing like a bit of sniff, you were a proper wrong 'un, and you stayed away from
Yeah.
people like that because they were dirtbags.
Oh,
And now
yeah.
people are just like,
It's like, what, you're
now
not
it's
doing
just
it?
like,
Like,
yeah, it's just like, oh, should we all go to the toilet now? And it's just like, okay, but like, the thing is though, like, I know I don't judge people for, whatever. We've all got our vices, so I don't really care as long as it doesn't affect, the people around them as such. Like, it's only
yeah.
themselves that they're affecting. But yeah, I went to the toilet with a friend, and I knew she sent her boyfriend to like go and get a bag from somewhere or whatever. I don't know, just goes and stands on the street like waving for any dealers. I don't know. But she was just like, yeah, I'll give him 100 quid. Do you want some? And I was like, no, I'm fine, I'm good. She's like, you can have some if you want some. I was like, no, I appreciate the offer
It's
because I
really kind.
understand drugs are expensive, but no thanks. Thank
It,
you.
it is quite interesting
But
for how expensive it is that they're actually always quite willing to offer it out to you and share it.
yeah,
Well,
I
to my
mean,
knowledge, anyway.
yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it's a lot cheaper now. I don't know. Maybe they're cutting it with those dog worming tablets and just making it cheaper. So
I've heard good things about
I'm
those
not too
tablets.
sure. Yeah, anything like that? No, I've never done anything like that.
No,
So
no.
yeah,
Well, that's
right.
an interesting way to technically. We've technically started. I guess we can start with that.
Yeah,
Well,
we
yeah.
start off with we're too poor to afford drug problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not a better way to start, really.
Yeah, the only vices that I have is gaming and cheese. Those are
Ooh,
my only
cheese.
addictions.
What cheese though?
Yeah, I can't really class the vape as one because, I could be smoking like normal cigarettes.
What cheese though?
Step.
That's the question.
Oh, strong cheese. Nice
Okay.
cheddar and extra mature cheddar.
Ooh.
But I do like the sort of milder cheeses. Like I do like brie. Um
Oh, yeah,
I
brie.
I do like goat's cheese as well in the right situation.
Yeah, it's a
Like
situational cheese for sure.
yeah, like a nice sort of toasted sandwich with some rocket and some
Oh,
red onion chutney.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Brie and like anything like red onion chutney or like chili jam. Brie and chili
Yeah,
jam is my go-to. Or
yeah,
baked
definitely. Like
camembert.
and like toasted sandwich,
Yeah.
banging.
Ooh.
So yeah, like any kind of cheese for me is
Mm-hmm.
just. I don't think there's any cheese that I don't like. Um, I love Christmas for when like the cheese selections come out,
Oh my God,
and it's
yes.
just like these to share, sharing platter. I'm like laughs and
Quote unquote
gluttony.
share. Yeah, yeah, literally. What do you mean
Yeah,
share? Serve 6. Psst, challenge
share.
accepted.
Yeah, sharing bag, like sharing bag. I don't share my bag of Doritos. Like, no, you don't share
Absolutely
that.
not.
No,
A share
no,
bar.
no.
Like you see like serving
Yeah,
sizes on like chocolate and stuff these days. Like you can have 2 squares. I'm just like, ain't no one
yeah,
breaking a dark dairy
30
milk.
grams.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
come on. Have
yeah.
you, have you ever
That's like
weighed a
having a
portion of
Twix
cheese?
and just having like one of the Twixes. Like,
Oh
oh yeah,
God.
wrap that up and put that
Yeah,
away
I'll
for
save that for
tomorrow. Yeah,
later.
you just
Yeah.
that.
Psychos, the lot of them.
No, yeah, they need Jesus if they do that.
Yeah. I remember my dad
Even
and I.
Jesus is like, yeah,
Nah. Every Christmas, my dad
yeah,
and I, it's just like a challenge. Anytime we see each other, it's like, oh, I bought you another cheese for the cheese board. Like the Christmas cheese board starts in October. And then it's like, we get to
yeah,
Christmas,
yeah.
we go around theirs for Christmas, and there's like 25 cheeses. It's just,
I treat that
mm,
should be my Christmas done. I mean, I will literally spend New Year's Eve with a cheese board to myself,
nice.
and like a Jack Daniel's honey or something like that,
Oh,
and you
yes.
know the sweetness of like a JD honey with the cheeses is just
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Do you have the JD straight or do you
mm.
have anything?
Oh no, straight.
I can't drink normal JD straight, but the JD honey I can do. I'm a bit of a
Yeah,
wuss.
I mean, I've really started to drink a lot of spirits. Like, I buy a lot of up here. There's a lot of small distilleries,
Right.
so they the taste of them is just totally different. Like a lot of them are small batches, so to really appreciate them, they've got to be drank, neat with some ice or something to
Yeah.
really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm quite spoilt for all sorts, like whiskey especially. Even spice rum. I've just bought a lovely bottle of spice rum
I
that's
do like
been
that.
aged in old bourbon barrels.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's very nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in the country are you from? Or you live in the same
So
place?
so I've been all over the place. So I was born in Worcester, grew up in Worcester. Um, I've lived in Birmingham, moved back to Worcester, and then 5 years ago I moved to Anglesey, which is the very, very north of Wales.
Okay.
Um, so I technically live on an island.
Ah.
Um, so it's very, very scenic, very touristy. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of people tend to think that, oh, she's Welsh. I'm like, no, I can barely put a Welsh sentence together. I can get the
Oh God.
formalities out the way.
Mm.
But Welsh as an English speaker is a very, very difficult language to sort of get around. But
Yeah,
very difficult.
a lot of Welsh people don't even speak Welsh, do they? I think it's like only a small amount of the population.
In North Wales, they tend to. A lot of people's first languages. I don't. I think in sort of like South Wales, where people all sound like they're on Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah.
That's what they tend to. There's different regions. So same with England, really. If you're from a different region, you'll have a
Mm-hmm.
different dialect.
Right.
So somebody from down south will speak differently to somebody that's up north.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same with north and south, which some words differ as well, so that's just really confusing. So to learn with
Yeah, I
things
bet.
like Duolingo, a lot of it is South Walian, which is different here. It'll get me by,
Yeah.
but it won't win me any favors with the locals.
Yes,
So,
yeah. How long have you been there?
yeah, 5 years.
Okay.
5 years in September.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's lovely. Is that, do you prefer There or Worcester or Birmingham?
Um,
All got their positives and negatives, I'm assuming.
yeah, so if I would have grew up here, I probably would prefer to live in a city like a lot of young people do here, because there's not a lot.
Right.
Um, so I miss the convenience of everything of living in cities. Um, but I mean, I don't even have a Pizza Hut that delivers.
Oh god.
Um,
Wait, what?
yeah, yeah. We
Okay,
don't
that's
have
for
Uber.
real.
I think we've only just got Uber Eats actually.
Oh wow.
I've seen a few of them. I've seen a few of them like
UFO
picking
sightings.
stuff. Yeah, I've seen a few of them picking stuff up. We don't really have like a lot of things that deliver. So like your Chinese's, like your Balti houses, like
Hmm.
none of them deliver. None of them deliver.
Really?
So you have to pick it up.
Oh, I suppose that
The only
there's a plus
places
to
that
that.
tend to, yeah, yeah. I mean, but nobody's gonna go and walk to go and get their curry, are they? Like on a Friday night.
Yeah. I used to back in the day. I
So
remember going out and collecting it all the
yeah, you have
time.
no choice back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But yeah, we do have a few things on Just Eat. You can get, McDonald's and KFC and stuff, but it's a lot more expensive. So it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of like, the kebab houses that do like kebabs, burgers,
Just they specialize
pizzas,
in
like
everything, yeah.
yeah, like those kind of shops.
Specialize.
There's a load of those, and they do deliver.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
It's
there's a
crazy.
lot missing up here, and things are very far between.
Mhm.
Um, so, but where I live, it's sort of closer to the mainland. So if I do want to go to a Primark or something, I have got to travel 20 minutes,
Gotta
half
get
an
a
hour down
boat
the
for a
road.
get a boat to a
Yeah, I mean,
Primark.
I did actually look at it the once, and I think when I put in Primark, it came up as the closest one as being Dublin.
Oh. Oh my word.
I was like, oh, okay. I think that was an error.
Mhm,
I would
yeah.
probably say it's the second closest one.
Even still, it's rough.
Yeah, it's my second closest Primark. Like we've got no IKEA or anything like that.
Oh, man.
You know, yeah, it's very odd of what they think that we need loads of here. So obviously we need loads of Costas, we need loads of Starbucks,
Coffee,
we need a
coffee, coffee,
Next.
coffee.
Yeah, God. Like we've got all of this is sort of like in one place as well, like all in the same
Mhm.
retail park. So it's like, yeah, you got your Pets at Home, your Food Warehouse, or Curry's, B&Q, Next, Argos, The Range.
Why
Oh,
do I feel like
JD Sports, we needed
of
one of them.
course, of course. I feel like every
Sports
retail
Direct,
spot
yeah,
every retail
yeah,
park in the
Sports
country has the
Direct,
same shops,
yeah,
I swear.
yeah. And then we
It
got to travel like 20 minutes down the road to get to a decent one that's got like, Superdrug, Boots, and
Oh,
like
you're getting
clothes
fancy
shop.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matalan.
Oh, M&S.
Yeah. Oh.
No, no, I do have a Waitrose down the road, and it's kind of like my closest supermarket.
Oh, I
Um,
love a Waitrose.
so I know, like
Can't afford
people
it
will think,
now,
but it's
but
just like no. I was walking home and I thought, oh, do you know, I really want some lamb shanks.
mm.
Um, so yeah, I kind of came out of Waitrose with some lamb shanks, some spinach, some grated cheddar, and an avocado, and I was like, "This is such a fucking Waitrose shop."
Yeah, it really is.
It's
And it only costs you
spinach, avocado.
49.99.
I think it cost me 20 quid. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
used to live next
yeah,
door to one, and I was like, after work every day, I was straight past everything, straight to the reduced section. Used to get like a loaf, like the
yeah.
nicest loaf of bread for
Like,
10p. It was
if
great.
you're gonna eat it on the day, like, there's no reason why you can't. Like, every shop
No.
is the same. Um, I just think it's like the convenience for Waitrose. Like sometimes I only shop there if it's like, oh, I need this or I forgot to buy this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still use like Tesco's like online. Like
Oh yeah. Tesco
I
online comes in
couldn't do like
clutch.
a full weekly shop at Waitrose. I wouldn't be able to live.
Oh god,
Like
no.
I'd have to sacrifice something to shop there, I think.
Yes, definitely.
But
I couldn't do
but
it.
they do some nice foods. Like they do some really nice like ready meals and like ready to cook
Yeah,
stuff.
they
So
do.
you can't go wrong with
But
Waitrose in
if
that.
I'm
But
retired collecting my pension, I've got no one else, and it's just me, like I would be rinsing Waitrose. Just they've
yeah,
got
to be
so
fair,
many
it is
nice
always
things.
full of like older people.
Mm.
That I went in there like wearing my uniform and which is like combat shorts and just like a black top, but I had a backpack on as well. And I was just like, oh, this guy is literally following me around. So I was just like, because I am passive aggressive as fuck, right?
Oh, I love
So
it. Yeah.
I sort of like I wanted to have a look at the spirits. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like bend down here, like bend down and then start looking through my bag. Wanna follow me? I'll give
Just
you
keep him on it.
something. I'll
Keep him
give
on
you
his
something to
toes.
look at. Yeah, yeah. Oh, when she goes, so oh, I'm just making room in my bag for all this Waitrose stuff that
Yeah.
I'm going to buy. You know, so
Brilliant.
yeah,
It's
I can't help it with stuff like that. I'm like, there's literally 10 other people that I'll be following around in this store other than me. Like, but
mm-hmm.
because I've got a backpack, I get it. But I don't think that I would be shoplifting in my works t-shirt that has quite clearly that is
It's rather
my
incriminating.
works logo on it that is very, very obvious, that is very,
Yeah.
very so it's like why would I be doing that? So
No.
yeah, it did seem yeah, it seemed like the right thing to do
Yeah.
at the
Sometimes it
time. You
is. You
know,
just have
I've
got to.
literally
Go
oh, I
on.
was absolutely sweating because I have to walk up a massive hill, come down a hill, walk back up a hill, and I was just like, "George, you know what?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like every
I
time I used to
wouldn't
go into
say it's a
Waitrose.
hobby of mine. I don't do it all the time. Like,
But
I'm
you get a
not
kick
that
out of
bad,
it.
but just that day, it weren't even that. I was just like, "How dare you? How dare
Yeah.
you presume that I'm shoplifting from this fine establishment?"
Like, yes, there is a grapefruit in my handbag, but it's not the point.
What? No, that is not a bottle of gin tucked down my top. What are you on about?
Oh, I feel like I need a suit and tie every time I go
Mm.
to Waitrose. I feel like I can't. Like, I have to be dressed up.
I feel like
Otherwise,
if
I get
you
stared
don't
out.
dress respectively for Waitrose, that you will get followed around. Like
Yeah.
just don't. Um,
Oh
but
god.
I yeah, I mean,
It's
but yeah, I love Waitrose.
yeah, it is. I
The
always find it
security staff not
amazing.
so much.
No, I feel like amazing the amount of like friends I've met through like streaming and content creation and that, and I find out because I'm so used to just being well, I'm in Southend, which is recently been classed as a city, but it's a town. It's
Yeah,
but yeah, we just have everything. Everything's available. It's just outside London,
yeah,
so everything's there. So I remember we meet up with friends for like things like insomnia and things like
yeah,
that. People from I got a friend that's from Stratford upon Avon, and I see him, and we're walking around Birmingham, around like New Street and all that way, and he's like, "Oh, KFC, we have to get KFC." I'm just like, What's so special about KFC? There's like three near me." He was like, "I
I
don't have a KFC within an hour of me." Like, I'm like, my
I
mind is
concur.
blown.
Yeah, I get this. Worcester did not have a KFC until I was in my 20s.
Pain.
So I well, no, mid-20s.
Oof.
But I moved to Birmingham when I was 18 and there was KFC. And I was like, right, okay.
Time to lock
Every
in.
day I will drink their gravy. Like I just KFC.
Bathe in the
Because we
gravy.
didn't have one. Because we didn't have one. Like we had Burger King, McDonald's,
Hmm.
um, all of that kind of stuff. But just not KFC. So when Worcester finally decided to get a KFC, which was opened on like a retail park, they ran out of chicken, I think, within 4 hours. The queue was so bad that it went through the whole car park of the retail park,
Oh my.
out of the retail park, along the road, around a roundabout, back up a road, back up another road, and it caused chaos when
Shut
this
the whole
KFC
town
opened.
down.
it was as if they were giving away stuff for free,
Oh, it's mad, isn't
and
it?
it went on like that for days that they had to actually hire, massive outside fridges and freezers to handle the
Like
amount
hold the
of people.
supply. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean, for me,
god.
obviously, I was just like, "Oh, I've had KFC plenty of
Yeah.
times."
Yeah.
So, you
You know your
know,
town's small when you're bragging that.
KFC yeah, it's just like, God, like, you know,
Oh
I'd have
man.
KFC for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like, it's
Oh
just
god. To
like,
be fair, I
but
would kill a KFC
yeah,
right now.
but now they've got 2, now they've got 2 KFCs.
Okay, now they're just
So
showing off.
yeah, so now they've got 2 KFCs, but like I said, like, Worcester is very up and coming now, they've put a lot of money into it. I mean, when we had our first
Mhm.
Primark open, that was nuts as well. But yeah, they put a lot of money into opening up a lot of, restaurants and stuff
Mhm.
like that, so it you know, it's a great place because it's a student city as well. So, um, there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of bars.
Mhm.
So the nightlife there is great. Um,
Okay.
so it's not a bad city,
Mhm.
but it's not Anglesey. Um,
No.
my days off are a lot better here. You get a lot of people that have lived there and they're like, "Oh, why would you move up here?" And it's just like, "Well, why not?" You know?
Yeah, it's just
Like,
I think
why wouldn't I?
some people are so, I think, programmed to like a fast life of like everything has to be do this, move, more, 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 more. And I think as I'm getting older, like I turned 30 this
Yeah.
week, and I'm like, I'm actually really enjoying a slower life, like waking up on my days
Yeah.
off, I'm just having a coffee, sitting outside. I
Yeah.
haven't got to be productive and doing something 24/7.
No.
I'm so much
No. That's what
happier
I mean.
for
Like,
it.
I enjoy both. Like,
Mhm.
um, I'm very comfortable with doing nothing all day by myself.
Mhm.
But I am very sociable as well, so I do
Yeah.
love, once I actually go out, like, I love meeting people, and,
Yeah.
you know, going to events and stuff has been something that I've only just recently started doing, so,
Mhm. Well, like the insomnias and things like
in
that.
yeah, so I did go to, an EGX a very, very long time ago, I think it was about 2016.
Oh, wow, okay.
But obviously Birmingham is close to Worcester, so it was a
Mhm.
day thing. So, I'd go there on the Friday, catch an hour train back.
Yeah.
But for me now, most events are in London and they are very far away, and it is very expensive for me to get
Mhm.
there, for me to stay there. So I've sort of like pick and choose them carefully. So
Yeah.
I have to sort of like, oh, so who's going to this event then? To
Yeah.
think, do I want to go to it? Because if there's nobody going there, because I go on my own. If there's nobody going there that I can possibly bump into, it's pointless for me. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, I want to be sociable. I want to meet people. There's people that I've been speaking to on the internet for years and years and years and never met, and it's always great when you get to do
Such a
that.
good vibe, such a good feeling.
But I went to EGX slash Comic Con last October, and
Mhm.
while the event itself didn't really live up to the expectation, it was made it was made great by the people that I met.
Mhm.
Not just like streamer friends and like industry friends as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it purely because of the people that I
It
met.
is the people that make it. It
Yeah,
really is.
definitely. Like, I can go to like the shittest events. It's like you're saying, going to like the shittiest, dingiest pub you can think of, but as long as the people that you are with
Yeah.
are great, I
Mhm.
can have the best time.
It's
So
I've always like been
it's the
told
people that make it for me.
it's not where you are, it's who you're with.
Oh,
Oh, big lovins.
yeah.
Like whenever we do,
It's because I've come home and not given him enough
oh,
attention.
he
So
needs some
he's like,
fuss.
"Hello."
Yeah.
He is. He's such. you want to sit down? Do you want to get up? Do you want to get up? No.
What
Okay.
breed is he for audio listeners?
He's a Weimaraner. Usually when I say Weimaraner, people are like, a what?
Weimaraner. Can't say I've heard it. He's beautiful.
Weimaraner. So it's a German gun dog.
Oh, okay.
So they were bred to hunt, game, deer, boar, bears. But because they were bred for royalty, they couldn't just have any sort of dog. So that's why they are silver. They've got white or blue eyes.
Yeah.
So they could be in the household for protection as well as to hunt. But they wanted them to look nice, because they're going to be roaming the palaces and stuff. So that's why they're so.
They didn't want like
silver.
dingy mutts running around.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's the Germans kept them a heavily guarded breed. They didn't want to export them anywhere.
Okay.
And I think it was actually people that sneakily sort of took a breed and hello. No.
For audio listeners, he wants lots of fuss right now.
He does, yeah. He would appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nico, what are you doing? Yeah, he's getting on a bit now. He's 10 this year. He's 10 this month, actually, aren't he?
Hey.
But he's still
Gemini baby.
Still acts like a big puppy, don't you?
I feel like the bigger dogs always do.
Yeah, I prefer a bigger dog to a smaller dog. And people I love all dogs, but plus a smaller dog, and it's like handling a newborn baby. You're sort of like, no.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like, oh, I don't want it. Like with Nico, I'll sort of like rough him up a bit. Nobody wants your paw. I don't want your paw. Thank you. I'll rough him up a bit, like give him some like good pats and stuff. Like you do that to, a Chihuahua, and it's like I'm gonna break its ribs.
He's having a coughing fit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would never get a dog that I was scared of sitting on. So yeah, I just can't. I like a big hound.
Yeah. I say
so,
that.
Yeah, he's just a big baby.
I do. I've never had a dog, but I've dated a few people that have had like small dogs, like dash hounds and stuff like that. And I'm quite tall, so I'm 6'2", so I kind of do enjoy being like really tall and just having a little just a little dash hound I can hold in one arm or something like.
Yeah, that's how people like take them and they're just walking around with them, and I'm like, I haven't been able to do that with my dog since he was, 3 months old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 35 kg.
Ooh.
So, he's
big boy.
He's a big lad. Look, can you sit down, please? Can you sit down? Want to sit down? No. He does. He's just. It's because I haven't come home and sat with him and given him tons of fuss, which I would do. So he's feeling a bit left out.
Bless him.
Right, come on, lie down. Lie down. On. Oh, okay, he's just gonna sit in my lap.
So,
okay.
He's settling in. He's settling in. So
he is such a baby.
We'll go into like kind of the topic and the subject of this podcast. I guess I don't really know. Obviously, this is like the first time we're meeting, so I don't really know quite your story about it, and I don't want to put any words out there because I don't know anything. So if I give you the floor, if you want to sort of tell us your story while giving Rico some big fusses.
Yeah. No, he's going to fall off and he's going to... Right, you stay there and I will fuss you, I promise. So, yeah, I think with anybody that's a victim of... Because you are a victim, even if, there's been no overt sexual contact. You still are. You've kind of been conditioned in a way where you know hopefully it would lead up to that.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, I don't know. Should I start from who it was and
Yeah, from wherever you're comfortable
yeah.
with starting.
Okay. So I was about 7 or 8 um, when my mum introduced her partner to me. Um, I already knew him because he was an ex manager of hers. She used to work in like a corner shop, and I used to go and see her while she was working. And obviously, he was always there. And so, obviously, when my mum and dad split up, and then after a while, I knew that she was seeing somebody. I know that he'd stay on the sofa, but it was always kind of like she didn't introduce me to him at first.
Mhm.
And then one day, I think I was kind of like, I can't remember if I was asleep, but it was late, and then my mum was kind of like, "Oh, he wants to meet you." So um, I did. Obviously, I recognised him, and so he moved in fairly quickly. Um, everything was fine. Like I said, I already knew him, so I was kind of comfortable around him. Um, and I think I was still 8 at the time when my mum went out because she had me quite young, so she was still young herself.
Mhm.
Um, so my mum went out for a night out, um, and obviously left me with him. And I don't know why, but like the little baby sham bottles,
Yeah.
where it's like the sham, but yeah. So he bought me some of those.
Oh.
Um, and you know, it wasn't a it wasn't like an off. I think like my nan always had some in her house, and I think my mum used to give me one, but like pour it into a glass and put some lemonade in it. So
Right.
I'd tasted a baby sham before,
Yeah.
um, but I drank two, three of these bottles maybe.
Wow.
And obviously for an 8-year-old, I know like for an adult it wouldn't affect you, but for a child, it kind of put me in a happy sort of overly friend. Honestly, I was like drawing this guy pictures and stuff like that, like, and it was just
Mhm.
like, oh, what do you wish for in the world? Like, he's like, oh, I
Yeah.
want some money. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draw you with like loads of money.
Mhm.
um so I did that, and I remember sort of sat on the sofa, and I was just sort of being like really, really happy, and like, and I think I sort of like sat up and he said something, and I sort of like sat up and like kissed him on the cheek, and he was like, "Oh, thank you." So like obviously I like lay down, got back up again, did it again. And he's like, "Oh, thank you." And
Mhm.
at the time, like that wasn't, you know, something sinister, you
No.
know. Given the context of nothing happened until later. So I think a couple of years passed, whereas maybe I might have, it might have been a year, I could have been 9 or 10. So my mom picked me up from my nan's house, and we were walking home. We got home, and our family dog was just gone. She weren't there, and neither was he. But there was blood on some of the doors.
Oh.
So this was before like mobile phones were readily available and stuff like that. So this was sort of like the mid 90s.
Mhm.
Um, so I was getting really upset because I was like, "My,
You're
where's the
freaking out,
dog?"
like, where's yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so was my mom. And the only place that we thought to check was the local pub. And he was actually there. He was there with our dog, who was fine, by the way. The
Right.
dog was fine.
Dog was fine.
He'd
Okay.
he'd actually got he'd actually got drunk, cut himself in some sort of drunken anger, just decided to go to the pub, take the dog with him for some
Huh.
weird reason. So obviously my mum was trying to get him to come home. He refused. And for some unknown reason, my mum, like we started to walk away, but obviously she was upset and she was just like, "Can you go and try and get him to come home?" Um, so, you know, being a kid, you just do, don't you? You just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like, not realizing the severity, like, because I just went and played on the park that was at the
Mhm.
pub, and so um yeah, I kind of went back and tried to ask him if he was going to come back, and he was just like, "No, me and your mum are arguing, um, and the reason why is because I keep thinking of that night when you kissed my cheek."
What?
Um, and it was kind of like, "Yeah, but you've got to forget it." Like, I was just like, "Well, that's silly. Like, you just got to forget about that." And he's like, "Yeah, but I can't." Um, and it was just like, okay, and then just like walked off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
understanding like this situation.
Mhm.
Um, so I told my mom this, and it was only until sort of overhearing her conversation with somebody else where she was kind of like, "We've never argued about that." So
Huh.
um but after that situation, um the every time he drank excessively, I think he drank like most of the nights, but it was only nights where like he drank excessively, um did he start coming into my room um
Right.
at night. And I I was kind of a light sleeper, so um and they were quite heavy. They were like fire doors as well. So whenever he opened it, like it would wake me up, but I always pretended to still be asleep.
Mhm.
Um, More sort of the fact is that I think like, well, what are you doing in my room?
Yeah.
Just to see what he does. Um, and it kind of started off where he would try and pull back my bed sheets without me waking up. So he would do it, but because he was drinking as well, like his breathing was so heavy, and it's just like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I didn't know what to do. Like it's obviously like, what are you doing? But didn't
Mhm.
really understand why he was doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would sort of pretend to stir almost. So he would think, oh, and he would kind of like, you know,
To make him, like, sort of
stand
step
back really
away.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which the first couple of times it happened worked. I can't remember how many times it happened. It happened between the ages of about 8 until I was about 15. Um,
Wow.
um, and it probably happened maybe once a year that I
Okay.
that I know of.
That
That I know
yeah.
of. Um, but it got to the point where I did tell my mum, um, and her her response was to sort of, well, put a doorstop under your door um, when
Wow.
you go to sleep, so he can't come in.
Wow.
I don't know whether she believed me or whether she thought that I was kind of not explaining it right.
Mm.
or whether she just thought he's so drunk he doesn't know which bedroom he's in or whatever.
Yeah, maybe trying to see the
Um,
good in it kind of thing.
yeah. So it got to the point as well. I mean, our family dog was never allowed to sleep in the bed, but I always allowed her to come into the bed because it was kind of like a barrier between me
Yeah.
and him. Um, so the first time that he came into my room after I started sneaking her into my room, the thing that woke me up was him trying to coax the dog out of my bed. So she was very well trained. So she'd move if you were to like click your fingers. So you just be
Yeah.
like, and it was the clicking of the fingers that woke me up. Um, so he was trying to click, like, come here,
Mhm.
like, move out the way. Um, and she did eventually get up, and I pretended that obviously it was her getting up that woke me up,
Yeah.
knowing full well that he's probably just trying to get her out the way.
Mhm.
So he was like, I woke up and fully like it got to a point where like at this point I was sort of like nearing my teens. I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh, dog shouldn't be in the bed. And it's just like, you wouldn't know that unless you came in here.
Yeah.
um so you things started to kind of you know it's wrong, but you think, well, I've mentioned it, and it's just kind of like, oh. Um, but also my mum sort of made a comment as well where um, we were going somewhere, and I made like a kind of snarky comment that kids do, and he sort of didn't like it. Um, and I can't remember the leading up to what she said, but she basically said, if he leaves because of you, I will never forgive you.
Oh, wow.
So in my mind, if I went against him, um, she would always put him over me.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I was like, I've mentioned it, and you know, she's not. So I didn't mention it again from like the first or second time, and then she's like, put a doorstop under your door so it stops him coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
obviously she doesn't
It's really
care.
hard to hear from such a young age, like when you're in your formative years as well, to hear that from your mum must be really difficult and confusing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you just think that if you do anything to upset this person, or if this person, like she said, if he leaves because of you, I'll never forgive you.
Mhm.
Um, so to me, that was kind of like, well, I can't I can't do anything then. I can't really say that he's doing something wrong when So yeah, it kind of went on like that for years. And the frustrating thing is that he had family that lived abroad, um and we'd never been abroad before, and we never would have been abroad if because of this man. And some of the best and the worst memories that I have from my childhood are from the same person,
Yeah.
and that annoys the living shit out of me
Yeah.
because those are some of the best memories were because of him.
Mhm.
Not that he gave me them, but gave me the opportunity to have them.
Yeah.
Um, because he was an aggressive drunk. He was angry. He'd never hit me, but he was never sort of like a stepdad either. He was truly, she's not my daughter, so I'm not going to discipline her.
Right.
But kind of put this authority into the house where if you do something wrong, there are consequences.
Mhm.
And I mean, because he was a very large man as well. He was quite a large man, not like fat but like tall as well.
Yeah.
He was a very overbearing man. He was a very large man. Um, so there was this kind of that kind of intimidation as well.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
so yeah, I think kind of trying to live my life with, I don't know, I just wanted to make things easy. Like there was always this thing in the back of my head where I don't want to be on my own with him, but he was always nice. Um, if it was just me and him, um, he took me places, he took me to school, you know what I mean? And I started smoking from my early teens. And they found this out through my school. Um, and he would actually buy me cigarettes. Like
Mm.
most of them I just sold at school, but y- you know, um, yeah, he'd buy me like cigarettes and stuff. Now at the
Mhm.
time you just think, ha, well I've got cigarettes. You know,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
look back at it, you think, it's a grooming thing.
definitely.
Um, so the the second to last time an incident occurred, like I said, there's so many, and so many of them are just kind of like the same thing of him trying to come into my room and um he's the last time is when there was sort of more physical contact. So there was an incident. um we had our PCs connected, um and he was downstairs, I was upstairs, and he just started messaging me on it, and he was just sort of like, "Oh, I'm down or upset or unhappy," um, and I think I must have been about 14, 15 at this time.
Mhm.
Um, so more sexually aware and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, he's, "Oh, I'm unhappy," and me, I'm just like, "Oh, why?" He's like, "Oh, because um your mom doesn't give me any attention or love or stuff like that." And I was just like, "Oh, well," because at the time he built me my PC as well. Like
Right.
if he wasn't in the house, because he worked in computers and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so again, I would never have had a PC if it wasn't for him either. Um, so there was still this kind of, I still need to be nice to him as
Y
well.
yeah.
Um, so I was like, well, what would make you feel better? And just he was typing for a long, long time, but all that came through was just two letters, BJ.
Oh.
And I was just like, "Ugh, gross," and I was just like, hmm, well, can't help you with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I think my defense mechanism is humor. So I was just like, well, can't help you with that. Sorry. And he's like, "Oh yeah, silly question. Like, forget I ever said it." And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Forget it. Don't worry about it."
Mhm.
And he's like, "You're cool. You're so cool. Like, you're brilliant." Um, and it's like, what for not saying anything? So at that point, I started spending weekends at my auntie's, mainly because she spoiled me. Secondly, because it got me out of the house when he tended to drink more.
Right.
And so yeah, I think this was a Friday afternoon. Um, so I was gonna head there anyway, but this freaked me out a little bit, and I didn't want to be on my own in the house with him. Um, so yeah, I said to my auntie, I was like, "Look, I'm gonna come and walk to yours right now." Um, and I kind of told her about it, and I don't ever remember anything coming of it either. Like, I don't
Mhm.
remember. Again, it was kind of like, because the reaction was so sort of lackluster. It was just like, oh, okay, well, all right. Well, I kind of think this is wrong, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that was the second to last time that there was something. Um, the very last time, um, I I was still at school because I actually said to my mum the next day that I didn't want to go to school. So yeah, I must have been 15. So that night, again, came into my room, um, moved my bed covers back. Um, but this time he tried to move my underwear to the side.
Oh god.
Um, and it just, like, my stomach, like, I just felt sick. And it's horrible because you don't really know how to react. You know it's wrong, but also this person has been in my life for so many years. I know that what he does is wrong, and you can't. People always say, "Oh, why don't you fight some like people off?" And it's just like, until you're in that situation,
Yeah.
like, you don't know how you're gonna react. And because the reactions that I'd had before were so, as if people were so uninterested. It's just
Yeah.
like, what? But that turned to anger. It manifested itself in anger
Mhm.
that night, I think. Um, and I think at that point, I was like, no, no, this is not happening anymore. I'm not gonna keep waking up in the middle of the night to this man. It's not right. You know, I don't know, it became more brazen. And like I said, it did become an anger thing because I was fed up of him doing it to me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the next day I refused to go to school, like, just out of like pure spite,
Yeah.
you know. I was like, no, I'm not getting up. Just so angry, and so um, so he was downstairs and my mom was in her bedroom. I refused to go to school. Um, and obviously she's angry because I've refused to go to school because she's obviously got to make the excuses. And
Mhm.
she's got to phone the school to say that I'm not going in.
Yeah.
So, and I think she's angry at me because I'm just downright refusing to go to school for no good reason other than the fact that I don't want to go. So, yeah, I went into her bedroom. I can't remember what we were talking about or what I was talking to her about, but I sat next to her, and the thing I can remember saying is, "Oh, and by the way, if he comes into my bedroom again and tries to touch me, I will call the police."
Wow.
Um, because up to this point, I don't know how many times that I told her. I can't even remember because it's so the reaction is so sort of lackluster that I can't even remember because it's
Yeah.
just so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It felt irrelevant. So in my mind, it was irrelevant to remember it. So,
Mhm.
well, that's what I'm thinking anyway. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I think in her mind, she was like, "Shit, I should really do something about this." And
Yeah.
the thing that she thought she should do is that night get us all into the same room to talk about it.
Oh god.
Um, and she was angry, And I look back at it now and I'm thinking, why the fuck were you angry? What right have you got to be angry?
Yeah.
Are you angry because this is causing a inconvenience to your life? Like my mom is very much like a, um, I'll make do with it, you know, like I'll just, you know,
It is what it is kind
um,
of thing, and just
yeah, whatever makes her life easier.
mhm,
She just wants an easy life and she just wants to sail through it. So, yeah, she sort of got us into the same room. She's just like, right, we're sorting this out now, and then blah 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 blah. And she'd obviously spoken to him about it before. Um,
mhm.
we we sort of all spoke, and he said, "Are you sure? Because I don't remember doing that. Are you sure I did that? Because I don't remember doing that." I'm like, Yeah, yeah, you did. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. Not third, fourth. You know."
It's a cop out.
So yeah, it's like, yes, you probably were drunk, but um and then it was a kind of, I can't even remember the rest of the conversation with that. Again, I think I was just angry at the
Mhm.
fact that I was maybe being questioned about it. It's not like I grew up as a child either that made up a lot of lies or made stuff up.
Yeah.
Um there would be no reason for me to. There would have been no reason for me to have done it when I was 8. There would
No.
have been no reason for me to bring it up when I was 15 either, especially to sort of make a threat that I was going to call the police.
Mhm.
It's not like I said, I want him out the house. I don't want, like, you know, it was just sort of like, I want him to stop coming into my room and trying to touch me,
Mhm.
or I'm calling the police. You know, it wasn't just sort of out of spite because he did something that I didn't like, you know, and just being a spiteful teenager. It
Mhm.
weren't. I just wanted him to just stop doing it.
Yeah, just
Um, yeah. So nothing. I'd like to say that he was brought to justice. He wasn't. I never did. I never did go to the police. I spent as little time as possible at home. Um, So I would go out as soon as I got home from work, because I started working as soon as I was 16, because his thing was, you know, you go out and work and you earn money and you do
mhm.
this, you do that. So yeah, I was never sort of like offered higher education or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, went straight into work as soon as I turned 16. Um so, you know, I'd always be out. Um Like, he still would be aggressive when drunk. Um, my m There was something put in place where he wasn't allowed to drink in the house anymore.
Right.
Um, and then that changed to, he's not allowed to drink red wine in the house anymore because that's when he gets the way he does. And
Right.
when I look back at it, like, at the time it didn't click, but then I was like, "Wait a minute. So he is aware of what he's doing, and he only does it when he's drinking red wine." And it's things like that that, as time's gone on, you know, you think, huh, okay.
Yeah. You're piecing it
So
together.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, there's, you know, like I said, there was always instances where he would buy me something, he would buy me things when I want it, and you know, I think that he was just sort of always trying to be in my good books, and I don't know whether he thought that if he did, you know, I'd be the same again as what I was like when I was a drunk little 8-year-old girl, you know?
Mhm.
And since having my daughter as well, um, you know, me and my mom, um, our relationship is fractured. We're more like sisters than we are mother and daughter.
Mhm.
Um, we can go months without speaking, and then just start talking like nothing happened. But
Yeah.
there's always that you weren't there. Um,
Do you feel like she like
so
wasn't quite the protector that you needed at that time?
no, no. And when I think to myself, if my daughter was to ever come and say to me, "Mum, he came into my room last night and tried to like take my bed sheets off," I'd be like, I don't care whether I couldn't make ends meet. I don't
Mhm.
care whether I couldn't afford to pay the rent. You know. Um, but yeah, it was very sort of like she couldn't get rid of him because it would make her life more difficult.
Mhm.
And I get that as a parent. Um, but it's not just sort of like you're kicking him out because he's a drunk. You're kicking him out because he's doing inappropriate things to your daughter.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, we've like my mom. She's a nice lady. Um, she never she was so much more better to me than what a lot of other people's mums were. She
Mhm.
wasn't very strict on me. Um, she was brought up in a very strict household, and she'd always promised that she wasn't going to treat me in the same aspects, and she never did.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I always thought that me and my mum had a good relationship until things started. When you start becoming aware of a situation that, well, actually, like she is always going to put this man before me.
Mhm.
So it just become pointless to keep mentioning it. Um, and yes, do I wish that I would have gone to the police? Yes, but what do I say? He's been coming into my room at night and trying to remove my bed sheets and then try to pull my underwear aside. Yeah, you just think, wow, that's stupid. There's actually women out there that are getting sexually abused, like, and beaten daily. Um, and you just think it's not worth it. But it's only since I've gotten older, and my I have a thing of watching like like the online like paedophile stings where like people have been grooming
Yeah.
kids
Yeah,
online
yeah.
and stuff. Now people think, oh god, it's like people don't understand why I watch it, so they're just like, oh, it's sad. But it's like it helps. Like you see them, they think that because they're not speaking to or they've not done anything with a child that there is no consequences and that there's no damage. There is always damage.
Yeah.
And it's only by watching, like, and people hate them because you've like, oh, okay, yeah, there's people shouting and screaming at them, and I'm just like, yeah, they should be. They should be embarrassed. They should be known.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be made to feel like because they haven't actually gone out and had sex with a 13-year-old that it's okay and that there is no lasting damage because it's just not like that.
But they're in with there
Um,
with the intent of it though, aren't they? And then if the cameras aren't there and the people that
yeah,
are making the sting operation aren't there, you have to think what would happen. And that's what you have
yeah,
to get to the point of
yeah. I
prevention,
mean, it's
not
not just sort of like, yeah, I mean, if they sort of turn up at their door and they were like, "Oh, yeah, you've been talking to this child," but when they're actually physically at a meeting point,
mm,
mm, there's, "Oh, I wouldn't have done anything," it's just
like
like, "But
bullshit.
you're here,"
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a victimless crime, and
Not at all.
I sort of like listen to these people that obviously have done their research and they have spoken to people like me that have gone through worse than me, um, talk about it, and then they start explaining the troubles that these people, that the victims feel, and they're kind of like, they struggle to form relationships, they struggle to trust people, they become overly sexualized, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, huh, yeah, okay, I get it.
That start to resonate with
So
anything? Like, did you resonate with anything like that? Did you have any of those kind of troubles?
yeah, I do tend to distrust, especially older men. Um, I struggle with people's intentions, obviously, especially men's intentions,
Mhm.
um, because I don't believe that people just want to be nice to me without there being something else they want in return.
Yeah.
Um, being overly sexualized, yes, there is a there is a feeling that you have to be provocative to feel um, validated, which I felt
Mhm.
for a very, very long time. Um, and that's only kind of in the last couple of years gone away.
Mhm.
Um, and again, that's through, Twitter and meeting gaming friends online and stuff. And it's just like, you don't need to act like this or
Mhm.
speak like this or post this to feel validated,
Yeah.
to feel like people want to speak to you because of you,
Yeah.
not because you're acting like this slut that would probably sleep with them,
Mhm.
because another thing is that because of that, um, I've never had a one night stand, so it's like I can flirt with you and talk about sex with you until the cows come home, but I still have to have a connection with somebody, like, so
Yeah.
I couldn't just go out and have a one night stand with somebody because
Mhm.
there's no connection, there's
No.
nothing. So I'm either completely uninterested or completely obsessed, you know?
Yeah.
So um but I can be completely uninterested and act as if I am,
Mhm.
because it's just like it, you know it's just words, and you'll probably like me more if I speak to you like that,
Yeah.
so but it's just like, well, it's just sexy words, isn't it? It's just sexy pictures, it's just this, it's just that. So yeah, it becomes sort of, oh, what's the word? um I'm trying to think of the word now. Desensitized,
Yeah.
um in a sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are always, things in the back of my head where I'm just kind of like, I don't need to be like I didn't need to be like that, but
Yeah.
I felt like I did. I felt like these are the only kind of girls that get attention, and I felt completely okay with that.
Mhm.
So there was like this, and like I said, it's only stuff that I've sort of realized over the last couple of years,
Yeah.
since I've realized that, I don't need to be like that to feel
Mhm.
validated, you
Yeah, you
know?
realize that it's not
Um,
connect your self-worth isn't connected to that. It's
no,
yeah.
no, it was just working with a set group of men that were only interested in that. It
Mhm.
doesn't it doesn't go for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, so over the last like 5 years, that I say 10 years ago, I would never have gone to an event and met up with strange men. I
Mhm.
probably would have made out that I would have, but I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Even if I'd been talking to these people like online, like it was still difficult for me because I still didn't trust their intentions, but I kind of gave them that. You know what I mean? It was a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had people that I thought were friends, and they weren't really friends. They just liked getting off to what I was saying to them, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's again, like I said, that's something that I realized, and that part is done and dusted, and now I can
Mhm.
just I don't have to act like that, and
Yeah. You know, you can be
I
yourself.
enjoy it. I enjoy not doing it. Yeah, yeah. I don't need to like post like provocative things or say like I will still do them, but with just the intention of being funny.
Mhm.
And it like it won't be sort of so in your face as
Right.
to so there will be the odd like I mean because I love innuendos.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, there will be loads of that stuff, but I've really reined it in,
Mhm.
and that's only through without people even realizing it, they've supported me through you know not a difficult time, but through a difficult emotion
Yeah.
um to get over.
Yeah.
So yeah, people have helped without even realizing they're helping.
That is the beauty
By
of,
just
like,
being interactive with me.
yeah, that
Yeah.
really is, like, the beauty of things like Twitch and, like, the content world and communities is that
Yeah.
you do make these friends from all walks of life, and that you like you say, they can just help you without even directly talking about it. Like you said, there's quite a lot of people that
Yeah.
don't even know what you've been through, but have actually helped you heal and grow from it.
Yeah. They've helped me accept that I don't need to act in a certain way. You can just be you, and people will be okay with it. Um, so yeah, um, that was another really good thing about it. Yeah, distrust again by people being more accepting of me for who I am has
Hmm.
made me more comfortable because then I'm not putting myself in that situation where they're only meeting me because they think they're going to get something out of it. They're meeting
Yeah,
me because they want to meet me.
they just want to hang out with
So
you, and yeah.
yeah, I don't have to question people's intentions.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it still does sometimes like, I still get a little bit freaked out by certain actions. I mean, obviously we wear hello. No, sit down. No, you gotta sit down. No, you can't be in my I know you like being in my face. You've got no facial lie down. Down. Down.
He's a gorgeous boy.
He
Mm.
he is like it's I feel so bad because all he wants is just like a lot of fuss from his mum,
Yeah.
and he's just like, why are you not giving me any fuss yet? You give me sit down with me and you
it's,
snuggle with me.
it's been so long.
It's been out all evening, all afternoon.
But no, it
Um,
is going back to like the whole events thing. I'm meeting people online as a man. Like I'm not muscly, I'm not built or anything, but like I'm quite a tall, broad guy. So going to these kind of events and meeting people that I've met online to me isn't intimidating, or I'm not kind of thinking about anything in the back of my head. But I can
yeah,
imagine there's so much more thought that goes into it from your perspective and the things that you've been through, that you must have so many more questions and sort of hesitations, and kind of like you say, not
yeah.
knowing people's intentions must be really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's the day and age that we live in now where like everything is just so casual.
Mm,
It's like if I'm willing to meet you, that doesn't mean that I'm willing to sleep with you. Um,
yeah.
I mean, I've found that even if I'm not overly flirtatious with people, they still think that anyway. Um, so I think it's just sort of, trying to make sure that people don't get the wrong idea, but you've not
Hmm.
given them the right idea either. Like, so, it's like I said, it's just really difficult to fathom. Like I said, I really enjoy meeting people. Um, but um yeah, it can be sometimes, but a lot of the time, um, people are really helpful. I mean, if people are sort of like overly friendly,
Hmm.
like, um, I mean, other women might really like this, but if like they meet somebody and a guy is like, um, got his hand around her waist or something and is like holding onto her waist, and it's just like, unless you're taking a picture with me, like to me it, I'm just like,
Mhm.
are you just looking for an excuse to touch me?
Yeah.
um it, to me, it's not a friendly thing.
No, me
um
neither.
it might not be to a lot of women. Like I love giving hugs and stuff, but I wouldn't sort of like hug somebody and then linger with my arm around them. You know what I mean? That's just
Yeah.
a bit weird.
It's subtle cues
Um,
like that that really, like, for me, yeah, like, say, like, if I'm meeting people at events and friends that are women, like, I'm not gonna put my arm around their waist. I'm either, like, on my side or on their shoulder or, like, you know what I mean? You kind of just,
yeah,
you have to use
yeah,
your common sense, really. I don't know, as a guy, I feel like I've always been super respectful of women anyway, but I think you do
yeah.
have to kinda
I mean,
think in their shoes as well to
it's
how.
difficult because like, you don't know. Um, a lot of people don't like physical touch anymore. Not even hugs from people that they don't know.
Mhm, yeah.
Um, but I think like hugs and stuff. Like, I'm more than happy. Like we can have like a great big hug. But to me, putting your hand around my waist is a dominance thing as
Mhm,
well. You're sort of holding me like against you, and it's just like, I mean, I don't even mind if they put like their arm around like my head, like they're just like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't bother me, but I don't know
mhm.
what it is with like, you know,
I
holding
think it is a
me.
bit more, just that bit more intimate, isn't it? It's like it's.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, again, like just like through experiences, like, or even like the hand on my back either. Like
Mhm,
if it lingers there for too long, like it's really odd to me.
mhm,
But yeah, again, it's just like little things like that, and there's nothing really. I don't expect people to change their demeanor to suit me.
mhm.
Um, but sometimes it is taken the wrong way. But to me, if you're going to do that to me, it means that you've got something else on your mind. Like you just want to physically touch me. You're not just sort of like doing it as a mate.
Mhm.
You're being sort of like a bit too forward.
It's almost like
Because
saying
it is.
something without saying something, like.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there are still consequences. There are repercussions.
Mhm,
There is. I don't even I don't even know whether it's trauma. I wouldn't say that it's trauma, but I don't know whether that's just because I've dealt with it,
mhm,
or or I am trying to deal with it. Like I said, there are people in the world that have suffered so much more worse than me. Um, but
it doesn't take
you're
anything
still
away
a
from you, though.
victim.
Yeah, it
No,
doesn't take anything away from you
you're
or your
still a
story.
victim.
Mm,
Um, but it's like I said, you are a victim, yeah, but you will only continue to be a victim if you allow it. Um, only you can change how you meet. Like, don't allow it to define who you are.
yeah,
I'm not saying that don't, just forget about it, pretend it didn't happen. Just don't let it define who you are, for the rest of your life.
yeah,
Because if you let it, then it's going to,
yeah.
and you can't, you know,
Y
otherwise
y
that's when you will just spiral into your own sort. Just spiral into yourself. And I think it got to a point like that with me where it did come out as anger.
Mhm,
And it does help talking about it, but at the same time, like I said, throughout my childhood where it was dismissed, I feel the same.
yeah,
That it's going to be like that with an adult. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I will always encourage people to tell authorities, no matter how much they think, you know, I wish I would have done that. Um, so yeah, it's but I didn't, and it's too late for that now. I've moved on. Um, I wouldn't say I've made peace with it, but I'm dealing with it,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
That's all you really can do.
so
It's just, it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be constant healing journey. I think in an awful,
yeah,
awful way, it does shape you into who you are, or you take it and turn yourself into who you are. Like, um, would you say that it's, for what you've gone through, it's made you a better parent to your daughter because are you like more heightened or aware to certain situations? Do you like show her the,
yeah, yeah,
like, the comfort
yeah,
and
definitely.
that you were kind of
Um,
looking for as a child? You wanted your mum to be your protector, and where she, maybe you feel like she might have failed you in certain aspects, you make
yeah,
sure you're
yeah, of
not doing
course. I
that.
mean, even something as silly as, trying to get her into a higher education, um, making sure she tries to better herself,
Hmm.
um, and not just sort of go through life, um, as as I have, thinking, well, I've got nothing to show for it. Um, no career, nothing. And, I'm just like, I want better for her. Just
Yeah,
like my mom did for me. Um, I want even more, like, for her. Um,
yeah,
she will never sort of, I've never really told my daughter about it either. So it's just kind of like, I don't want her to think, oh, well, when she whinges about something, and I think, oh God, shall I just like, it's not all that bad because I didn't buy
hmm.
you some monster this week. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's not the worst thing in the world, trust me. Um, but then I think, no, like, you can't really be trauma dumping on my kids.
No, no.
So
That
yeah, I mean, she's 17 now, so she's,
okay.
she's older than I was,
Yeah,
the last time it happened. Um,
yeah.
so I'd hope, like, if anything ever happened, she would tell me,
Mhm.
and she would have the confidence to tell me that I would do something about it.
Yeah,
Because I never had that though. It was pointless me saying anything. So I hope that me and her have such a relationship where she trusts me to tell me
yeah.
because I can protect her.
Mhm.
And I I think so. I think she would. She does tell me a lot. She does tell me, like, even online and stuff, like, you have to watch about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um she's just sent me a message on WhatsApp saying, "What are you saying about me?"
I would, yeah, I would, that's funny. I would like to think as well, in this day and age compared to the 90s and early 2000s, there's a lot better support for this kind of thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, therapy wasn't a thing. Um, you know, speaking to, if you did, it was sort of seen in a negative light.
It was taboo.
Um, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know whether I would. It would be nice to, but there's so many people out there that are struggling day to day, that are struggling to get to speak to somebody that they need to, and it's just like, yeah, I probably do, but there's always, to me, there's always somebody worse off than me. You
Mhm.
know, I I'm dealing with it in my own way. Might not be the right way, but I'm
You're
dealing with
doing
it,
your
and I think
best.
the first thing is realizing something and being like, huh. So I keep joking and I'm like, oh, like, day 325 as being my own therapist, like, and just coming up with, like, oh, I act like this because of this, or I feel like this because of this. You know, and I'm always like sometimes I'll post those kind of things on Twitter where I kind of
Hmm.
think to myself like, oh, I'm not emotional, but um, I cry more out of anger because growing up in a household where emotion was weakness, so you don't
Hmm.
show emotion for, you know, the silly little things.
Yeah.
So you get angry that you can't show emotion. So
Hmm.
then you cry out of anger because you can't show emotion.
Yeah.
So, so, so yeah, I'm just like, wow, I am my own therapist.
Hmm.
So you know,
There's some empowerment
so
in that though, I think.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of the thing is like come to realize like if you know you do something and you're just like, I don't know why I do it. Like there is always a reason why you react in a certain way.
Yeah.
Um, you know, for every action there's a reaction. Um, but as soon as you're made aware of it, then you can start working on it, and it can take years. It doesn't happen, you know, overnight. It didn't
No.
happen overnight for me. It took 20 years of sort of acting like this provocative porn star online that, you know, I thought, Why?
Yeah.
Why am I why? I'm not gonna go out and sleep with these people. Why am I doing it?" And then it was sort of like after watching all these like predators and they're like, "Oh, they become overly sexualized and they do this," and then I'm like, "Huh, huh."
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it it kind of makes sense and you put like a few things together, not you know, hello, 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 hello. So yeah, but like I said, you can continue being a victim or
Yeah, everyone goes through their own shit, but we can't let that shit define us. And I think you have a
no.
really healthy way of dealing with things. I think you're very much a similar ilk to myself of if I can laugh about it, if I can laugh at myself and make jokes and use humor to kind of I use humor not just as a defense mechanism, but
Yeah.
as a healing mechanism to
Yeah.
if I
Yeah,
feel like
definitely.
however
Yeah. I
difficult a
mean,
situation is, if I can laugh at it, it makes it lighter.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes it can be sort of taken out of context, but it's just like, no, I'm not being a knobhead. Like, if
Hmm.
anything, it's just sort of taking the mick out of myself.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I am always fully open about how I acted, how I reacted. Like, not saying that I'm not ashamed of it, but I did it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change it. I can
Hmm.
only move on from
And
it
grow.
and be a better person than what I was then.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, grow as a person. But yeah, never anybody else that's sort of been through anything similar to me, like even if you think, "Do you know what, things happened worse, like still what happened to you is an awful thing, no matter how much you try and play it down, because I play it down so much. You you are still a victim. Um and you know, you need to grasp that as well. Like, you need to realize that you were a victim, you were being groomed, you were being treated in such a way that was wrong for somebody, any adult, to treat a child.
Yeah.
Um, but you do have to embrace it, and you do have to, you know, think right. I'm not gonna let that asshole like define who I am. I'm not gonna be sad. I'm not gonna be down about it. I'm gonna freaking get on with my life and prove that I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not there reliving what they've done to me. So, yeah,
Yeah. I
I
love that.
I do. You know, I do hope that it helps. It helps somebody, you know,
I
even if it's
it
just
one person. That's all I say for every episode. If it can help one person,
yeah.
then it's worth it. And I'm really super grateful for you for taking the time to talk about it
No,
and
no,
being so
I
open and
appreciate you
honest.
listening.
Like, it's really, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's helped you. I think quite a few people seem to treat this as a therapy session, I guess, because you can just talk with no
Yeah,
judgment, and I hope,
exactly. Yeah. You don't want people asking you loads of questions like, "Well, but why didn't you?" And it's just like, "Because I just didn't, because I was a
y-
child."
yes,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, it's nice for that. So yeah, I appreciate coming on. I've had a
Thank,
blast, and
thank
Nico's
you.
had a blast, and
Nico has had a blast, yeah. Before we wrap things up, I ask
Nico's had
every
a blast.
guest if there's one message or advice you could put out to the world for people listening, what would it be? Or a quote or a piece of advice?
I don't know. I'd probably have to stick with my, you will only be a victim if you allow yourself to be. Continue to allow yourself to be.
Mhm.
Never let other people define who you are as a person.
Beautiful. I think it's amazing. The perfect way to wrap things up.
Oh my god, Jerry Springer.
And the lie detector test.
Care of yourselves and each other.
Yeah. Chrissy, thank you
I've
so
got no midgets like pole dancing behind me. I'm sorry.
Damn it. I knew we were missing something.
I've got no hillbillies waiting to come out
No.
and fight. Sorry.
Oh, I've got a
No.
surprise for you. Bring them in.
Yeah. Oh, oh, you'll be surprised to know.
Yeah.
I've got 6 hillbillies out back waiting to have a
Oh my
fight.
god.
Oh, cares.
Brilliant. Chrissy, thank you so much. I really
No
appreciate you.
problem. You're welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take
Goodbye,
care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.